Okay, so you're telling me the first day of spring football was today.
It happened.
Okay, how come I wasn't invited? Because I swear I was told I was competing for a kicker competition this year. What the heck?
Happy Tuesday and the start of spring football, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, of course, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Make sure you join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, joined as always by all cutesy legs here. That's, of course, Erik. We got Captain Redbeard behind the Mac, just beeping and booping per usual. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. That is right. Spring football has arrived. Sam Leavitt, Kenny Dillingham, Jordan Tyson and company back on the field, and my goodness, we have a ton to get into. Some of the new guys, the transfers, the offensive line, the competitions out there, and yes, that's right, we've got sound from Sam Leavitt, QB1, and Kenny Dillingham. Grab a snack, grab a drink, and grab some sunscreen, because I was out there.
I'm about to say,
and my
toasty
goodness,
Totri over
I
here.
can't wait to get some color over the course of the next month, my friend.
More like Anthony Totri.
Wow.
I mean, there
we
we
should
go.
have known. We should have known. Just roll it. Roll the clothes. We're good on the day. That's
you can
all
follow
we need
us
to do.
On PHNX _Sun Devils. Go Devils.
Good
and
stuff.
Peace.
Good
also,
stuff.
new intro music, huh?
New intro music. Why not? It's a new season for Arizona State. It's spring football. New
Are we keeping this
vibes.
intro music?
I feel like at least for spring ball.
For spring ball.
For spring
Got
ball,
a
we
new
should
lower
keep the
tier
vibes.
for spring football.
Gosh, it's great stuff.
I
Man.
mean, we're here.
We are.
We made it. We slogged through the end of that
Goodness
basketball
gracious.
season. Sun Devil Nation made it through.
Tooth and nail, dude.
Tooth and nail. Softball's killing it. Baseball's killing it. Hockey had a great season, but now we're back. It's time.
It's foosball.
It is foosball. It is spring foosball. And apparently, people are kind of interested in this team now, Toastry.
Yeah, they should be, man. I have never seen in my time covering Arizona State as many media members out there at the start of spring practice. I mean, it was normally you're supposed to get there around like 9 o'clock, right? They'll open the gates for us around 9:20. And there was an army of media members.
You had to fight through. You said, "Get out of my way. Do you know who I am?"
Yeah, that's exactly.
Have you seen the show?
Exactly
a 24-hour
happened.
stream man walking through
24-hour stream man. That's exactly what they call me out there now on the field, man.
I mean, how awesome is it though that there's the attention that's surrounding this team, but it doesn't feel like, oh, we're just trying to capture the end of a one-hit wonder. It's like people are like, no, like this is legit. Like we got to get in on this and we got to cover this, and there's an appetite.
There absolutely is. And I think it's funny you bring up capture the success, right, of what this team and this program accomplished last year with a Big 12 championship, a Peach Bowl appearance, and the college football playoff. It's funny that I feel like everybody not associated with the program is keeping up with that, right? But this team in and of itself couldn't be further away from it. They're trying to erase it. They're trying to actually move on to what's ahead in 2025, 2026. They don't want to talk about last season. If you are not on social media whatsoever, if you haven't seen, they played We Are the Champions maybe 20 times today just on a loop at practice. They played that. They went straight from Queen, right, into DJ Khaled, All I Do Is Win. Yeah. And Kenny and the guys were asked about that, and we'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. But part of that is realistically Kenny wanting to make it so just monotonous that they don't think about it. That the championship and everything that this team accomplished in 2024, early 2025 is exactly that. It was last year's success. Sure. They're trying to write a new chapter in Kenny Dillingham's book of what Arizona State can be. And, day one, I think they're off to a hot start. Obviously, you'll hear from Kenny a little bit later on in the show. He thinks there are some things that could certainly be cleaned up, and I think that's totally fair. But ultimately, when you have so many returning players on both sides of the ball, you're going to really hit the ground running maybe a little bit sooner than you would in previous years, like a year one of Kenny or a year two, when there's just so many different players.
Yeah, I mean, compare it for me, right? Obviously, you were out there last year, Toastry last year, 2024 edition. How is it different in 2025? Beyond the playing the We Are the Champions, like obviously knowing that this team is night and day, polar opposite sides of the spectrum as far as expectations, as far as what happened in the previous season, but also who's on the roster returning. Like, what is the difference? The main thing that you picked up when you walked in beyond just the attention that was there?
The caliber of player that's out there now, right? I think the standard at Arizona State with Herm Edwards and even in the first year of Dilly in terms of what the player looks like, what their build is, how fast they are, how quick they can pick up an offense and a defense. I think that's obviously different this year than it has been in years past. Why? Well, you've got guys, regardless of this team, trying to erase the narrative of being reigning Big 12 champions, that they do have championship caliber players on this roster. They went out into the transfer portal and they were able to get dudes from Clemson, Alabama, Oregon, etc. Right? And then you look to the recruiting class and you were able to get guys like an AJ Aya, who is 6'6", 240
We're going to
pounds
talk about
there.
him a lot, it feels like.
There are a number of guys out there that maybe didn't play last season that look completely different this year, similar to what we saw last spring with Cam Scadaboo slimming out, with Prince Dorbah and Clayton Smith putting on some weight. Like, the guys out here now don't look like they did last season, whether that be transfers, whether that be young bucks who put on weight, right? Like a Tony Lewis and Kuba, who I said a couple weeks ago that I'm really excited to see. He, according to Kenny Dillingham, has put on 20 pounds, right? Some of the younger guys, Chris Johnson has put on 20 pounds. Some of the offensive linemen, I believe Terrell Kim, has lost 45 pounds since he got here, of like good weight to lose, right? As an offensive lineman. So just the way that these guys look out there, they look like a Division I football program now, which I think in years past, I think you could point to individuals, right? You go back all the way to the Herm era and you could say, oh, Jaden Daniels, a Brandon Ayuk, or Rashad White. Okay, those guys look like they can be NFL players. Those look like they can be dominant players in the Pac-12. And now you advance to year 3 of Kenny Dillingham and it's, okay, well, it's not just Sam. It's not just Jordan Tyson. You got guys in the 2 deep that won't be starting this season that look like they can be real contributors for years to come when the next wave of Sun Devils are ready to really take the reins of whatever this program is going to be, man.
Yeah, and that's exciting because in order to compete consistently, listen, man, coaching is super important. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, it's the most important thing. And we saw that last year. And we saw it when ASU competed 2 seasons ago, despite only getting 3 wins, but competing with a Washington, right? A lot of that's through coaching and willpower and, players that want it and try hard. But again, ASU was kind of at this tipping point where you can go either direction. You can either be a good football program, right? You could be a program that, hey, we're always going to be contenders in the Big 12. We're always going to be a tough team, right? And then there's the scale that tips into, no, we are perennially going to be competing for a college football playoff spot. Yeah. We are going to be somebody that is picked to be in the Big 12 championship or Big 12 champions 8 out of the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? You are at that point where in order to get to the better part of that, you're going to need to up the size, the talent. You're going to need blue chip prospects. And I'm not saying you need the 5 stars.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think
it's different than basketball.
I think it's very clear that this program can succeed, finding diamonds in the rough, finding Michigan State transfers, right? Finding JUCO players that can come up and be somebody who's now hopefully going to be one of the most coveted undrafted free agents, or somebody that gets snagged in the late round of the NFL draft before going on and performing at the next level. You could take a Cam Scadaboo, who was a 0-star prospect, goes to Sacramento State. Still, nobody knows who the hell he is. Get him to Arizona State and eventually get him to a top 5 Heisman level. Yeah. And the NFL media's darling as a steal of the draft going into this draft season. So you don't need an entire team of blue chippers like a Georgia, like a Bama, like an Oregon. But in order to compete consistently on that level, you need some.
Yeah.
Right? You need that level of talent. You need to be able to dip into the transfer portal. And if you can take who you got this year, right? Whether it's a Noble for Clemson, right? Whether it's even somebody from Purdue, whether it's Nyland from Purdue, who is like, okay, you're a 5-star guy who kind of needs to find his way a little bit more. If it's Breedlove, it was like, man, you stood out on a lower level SEC team. Like, let's get you over here and let's have you stand out in Big 12 ball. When other players see that going forward, it's going to be a lot easier to convince them is probably a strong word, but get them in the door and get them to buy in. Yeah. And then once you're in, you see the culture. And I'm sure you saw it out there today where it's like, what other school is playing We Are the Champions 20 times?
Literally 20 times.
What other school is leaning into it? And you got to imagine, like, it's fun for these guys to feel like they still kind of have a chip on their shoulder, but it's also just like, let's get down to work. Yeah. Like, let's get busy. Let's not like mess around and just rest on the fact that we were the sweethearts of last season. Let's be the dominant ones of the next.
Yeah, no. And I think it's really interesting to see the difference in the way the fan base is approaching the program versus the way that this actual program is approaching what they did last season. Right. Like, I think you bring up a really good point in terms of, okay, you have a chance to now really elevate the program to be, like you said, a perennial powerhouse, a team that is consistently competing for championships at the Big 12 level, college football playoff spots, etc. And Kenny and company are really trying to be like, okay, that was a fun year last year. Don't get me wrong, but it's new. This is a new team. You have got new opponents. It's a new trajectory and it's a new path to success. Yes, what you did last season was cool. Yes, are you the reigning Big 12 champions? Yes. What does that mean now? Absolutely nothing.
Nada.
Right? It's a completely different story for this year's group, and I think it has the potential to be just as fun as it was last season, obviously with some new faces, some new numbers of even some returning guys.
Tell me the new numbers.
Kyson Brown. Kyson Brown is now rocking number 1.
Okay. Is that a hint?
We'll get into the running back competition a little bit later on. But Kyson Brown is rocking number 1. Montana Warren, who was actually running with the first team today in terms of defense at the nickel corner spot. He is taking after the man who came before him in Shamari Simmons. He is now rocking number 7. I'm trying to think what other numbers that you have out there. You've got some defensive line changes. Jalen Clem, I believe, now is wearing number 70. So other than that, not too many drastic ones. I think the main ones for me are Kyson, obviously, who you're going to see a good number of wearing number 1. Kanye Udoh is wearing number 6.
Wow, 6-string running back for Kanye.
Jaren Hamilton wearing number 16 out there. Noble Johnson, the Clemson transfer, he's wearing number 5.
Let's just see how many numbers you can get off the top of your head.
I could get a lot of numbers off of my head, to be honest.
Is anybody wearing 4?
I don't see anybody wearing 4 on offense.
Retired.
Miles is still wearing number 4 on defense.
Retired for Cam Scadaboo. Wow. I mean, that's big.
Yeah. You don't want to see a number 4 on offense.
Not this year.
I think you need to have some time pass sunset. But it's funny. You bring on number 4. Scat was out there. Xavier Guillory was out there. Melquan was out there. Day 1, obviously a spring ball, just kind of walking around and enjoying, not having to be out there.
Scat was it a softball or a baseball game?
He was at I think a baseball game. I think he was at a baseball game.
Kenny, of course, was at hockey. I mean, when you're these freshmen that are coming in, right? And I know AJ's the guy that we keep on talking about, but there's a lot of freshmen coming in here and they're walking into a very different situation than what they committed to, right? And you're seeing guys that you watched on TV make 2 of the biggest plays in Arizona State history in Melquan and an X, right? Or, of course, one of the greatest, if not the greatest individual season in Arizona State history.
The greatest running back in ASU history.
Yeah, greatest running, but which is a very, very big list to usurp. And so, you see those guys and they're back, right? They don't need to be there.
No.
Right? They're not a part of this team anymore, right? It doesn't
Scott's got a pro day to prep for in 2 days.
Yeah, this is something where you only do that if you really care.
Yeah.
And you're really invested. And that's got to be big for the returners to see their guys there, but also all the new faces in there because, you're stepping into something and now you're being reminded as to hey, this maybe isn't why I came here, whether you're a commit who committed before the season, right? Or you're a transfer who, was watching throughout. It's like, man, maybe I'll go to Arizona State. And then you get reminded, you're like, man, like that's what we can be.
Yeah.
Right. That there's a foundation that's been laid for us because of those guys. And they still care. They still invest. And let's say one of these freshmen end up to be the next Cam Scattaboo at whatever position they are, the next Arizona State fan favorite. Well, if they see Scat come back and return that, and then once Sam wins the Heisman and goes number 1 in the NFL draft and still returns, right? Once all of that happens and they keep coming back, you're going to be like, okay, we're starting a tradition. We're investing in this. And again, that plays into the long game. And you know who's invested in the long game? Kenny Dillingham, whose contract extension automatically kicks in a year and a year and a year.
Keep it running.
If he keeps winning a certain amount of games. So, it's nice to see it all coming together, and it's nice to know that we're just scratching the surface today, because I got a lot of questions for you. Yeah. I know you got a lot to share. I know we got a lot of people in chat right now. I mean, this is exciting.
Football's back! You want to talk more spring football on the other side of the break?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Guys, look, it took me a long time to get back to the office after spring football ended today, because I had to make sure that I was filling up over at Circle K. I got myself a nice little sports drink thanks to our friends over at Circle K. They don't just have great deals on snacks and drinks, but they do have some phenomenal deals as it relates to gas. To really take advantage of those offers, though, you got to be a member of their free membership program, Inner Circle. It's super, super easy and simple to get started. Go to the App Store, download the app, enter your email and phone number, and boom. Next time you pull up to the pump, you're going to type in your phone number, and then you can start cashing in on those deals, like saving 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. And if that's not enough for you, well, look, they're going to help you save 3 cents per gallon every single day after that. Like I said, they have plenty of other member-exclusive deals and discounts. Something to keep in mind. They've got Inner Circle Fuel Days, March 27th, April 10th, and then April 24th. Inner Circle members can save 40 cents per gallon from 6 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. Make sure you join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
Let me ask our resident sun expert, Totri. Was it hot outside today?
It was spicy outside today.
And living in Arizona for basically your whole life, do you know if it's going to get hotter?
Dramatically hotter.
Yeah, dramatically hotter. And that's why if you are looking to extend your outdoor living space in your home, you got to check out All Pro Shade Concepts. They have custom fit awnings where in the summer you can get up to 20 degrees cooler. And I'm telling you, the difference between 120 and 100 in the shade is a pretty massive difference. Plus, you can choose from a bunch of different types of fabric to withstand the sun, different colors to match your HOA. Plus, they're licensed, bonded, insured, the most trusted local shade company in all of Arizona. You can check the Better Business Bureau on their A+ rating, the 1,005-star reviews, or ranking Arizona, voting them #1 in patio shades. I know GM Spo was able to get some All Pro Shade Concepts out to his house. The installation was super quick, super easy. And now GM Spo can sit outside and enjoy the outdoors much longer. Plus, in the winter as well, it keeps the warm air in and the cool air out. It is a double dip for All Pro Shade Concepts. And make sure you can get your free estimate on how you can double dip at 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com now to schedule your free estimate.
Guys, make sure you hit that like button. And again, hit the subscribe button to PHNX Sports. With spring football coming in, of course, we can only show you so much on the show in terms of video and audio. But everything else, if you want to hear everything that Sam Leavitt and Kenny Dillingham had to say, it will be up on our YouTube channel a little bit later. So definitely stay locked in and subscribe to PHNX Sports if you want to go through all of that. And if you're not already a member of the Die Hard Discord, well,
what are you doing?
Sign up. Sign up to become a PHNX diehard. Absolutely, got some diehards in here. Actually saw a diehard at the gym the other day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so go sign up. Go PHNX.com, click a little diehard tab. I believe we have a deal going on or something.
Maybe go check it out.
Something along those lines. Definitely go check it out over on the website. And while we're talking about the amazing things that we are doing here at PHNX, now is a good reminder for everybody. If you haven't signed up for the PHNX Green Jacket Open Scramble, now is the time. We've got a start date April 12th over at Dobson Ranch Golf Course in Mesa. Shotgun start at 2 p.m. The entry fee is going to include range balls prior to the round, 18 holes with a card, games throughout the entire event, raffle, tournament prizes, tee gifts, got a pre-tournament Masters watch party, and then, of course, food and after the party over at Dobson Ranch. Make sure you sign up as an individual or a foursome today at gophnx.com/events to take part in all of the fun that we're going to have April 12th at Dobson Ranch Golf Course.
And while we're shamelessly self-promoting, this Friday at Spinato's, come hang out with me and the Suns crew and compete in some pizza basketball contests and watch Suns Timberwolves. The Suns, I mean, wow. Jaren.
Red hot.
Jaren was in the Suns chat.
Wow.
Yesterday.
That's how you know it's getting good.
And what I'm saying, she's the good luck charm.
There we go.
So we need her to stick around there as well. But Jaren also saying the Discord gets especially fun during football season. I think one of the most fun things people are looking forward to this season is Sam Leavitt.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How did he look today?
Sam looked good for the most part. The tough thing to evaluate when it comes to quarterbacks, not just returning quarterbacks, but just the offense in general for the first week and change during spring ball, is the defense is usually always going to win the first week and a half, strictly because, and more so this year, is there's so many returners on the defensive side of the ball. There are a lot of new pieces, at least working with the first team that we saw for the offense. You have a number of different offensive linemen. You've got 2 new wide receivers starting in the mix. Obviously, Cam Scadaboo's not out there. Kyson Brown's rocking with the first team. So there are a number of things that really need to gel over the course of, 4 or 5 practices before it starts to really become a little bit more of an equal competition. Although I will say there were a number of times today where Sam and Jordan Tyson looked like mid-form Sam and Jordan Tyson. Specifically, there was a time when they were running goal line, and Jordan Tyson was out there, and it was Montana Warren in coverage. Phenomenal coverage, by the way, from Montana Warren. Did just about everything that I could imagine that he could do. And Jordan Tyson still managed to snag it for a touchdown, right? He talked his mess. The very next play, Xavier Alford is in coverage on Jordan Tyson in the goal line. Just, again, smothering coverage. But, hey, it's Jordan Tyson, comes down with another touchdown in that one. Those two look special again, and it's only day one. Jordan Tyson, he's back. He looks like he is going to be an even bigger problem for defenses than he was last year.
So what are we going to do without a QB competition this summer?
We're going to just exhale.
Is there a hole in your heart?
We're going to exhale and enjoy it, man.
Sims.
I am so tired. Literally going back to my time at Notre Dame, there have only been 2 years. This year and the first year I covered Notre Dame where Ian Book was there. That was the only years where it's okay, there's no quarterback competition. The names of quarterbacks that I have dealt with for quarterback competitions throughout my career is just ridiculous. Between Drew Pine at Notre Dame and here, homie followed me all the way over here just to lose a quarterback competition. You had Tyler Buckner at Notre Dame. You had Paul Tyson.
I got to go there because of Anthony Totri.
Blake Barnett years and years and years ago. It's the Jaden Rashada era, all of it. I'm done with quarterback competitions.
You are, literally.
You got your QB1. We're good. There's no reason. Quarterbacks, this spring, maybe the least amount we talk about quarterbacks ever. And it's for good reason.
Wow.
Because they got theirs.
Well, we're not going to talk about him, but you did get to talk to him today.
We did. We did get to talk to QB1 today. And I'll tell you what, for some reason, I could be wrong. He looks a little bigger. Taller.
Okay.
He looks like he grew.
Growing boy?
He looks like he grew.
I mean,
maybe
he was
put
born,
on 5
remember what
pounds.
year he's born in?
No, I don't want to know. I don't want to remember. Those things bug me when it's oh, you were born in 2000. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Not just,
it's gross.
Not just 2004. December 2004. Sam Leavitt was basically born in 2005.
Almost 2005.
He was 12 days away from being born in 2005.
That's so gross. It's so gross.
Even Kevin, who's the youngest person in this office, is looking at us what the hell?
Yeah, QB1 again.
2005.
He spoke.
LeBron
today.
was already drafted.
Oh yeah.
LeBron
was
7. Was making first team All NBA when Sam Leavitt was born.
I mean, and Sam's still putting up crazy numbers. That's all I'm going to say. I'm really interested to see how Sam takes that next step, right? Because I think there is going to be a lot of pressure on him to meet the expectations of what national media has for him, which is, hey, you're one of the top returning quarterbacks in college football. You are going to be, in theory, a top 3 quarterback whenever you declare for the NFL draft. So to be able to live up to those expectations, to try to get this team to win another conference championship, to get this team back to the college football and further than they were before, while also not having a guy that was doing it all for you in Cam Scattaboo the year
Yeah.
prior, right? Now you have to be that
Safety
guy.
blanket.
You have to be the leader of this team. You have to be what people think of when they think of Arizona State. Do I think he can do it? Absolutely. Is it going to be a work in progress through spring, through camp, and probably through the early season? 100%, right? There were times out there today where he was asked, how do you get to that point? And he's like, be honest, I don't know, because we haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Right? It's one of those things that you can have thoughts and you can have opinions on how Sam and how this team can get back to a Big 12 championship, how they can really continue to elevate this program. But until you do it, until you see the process actually come to fruition, you don't know. You don't know how this whole thing is going to go. Can we make our guesses? Can we make our inferences? Absolutely. That's what we do. But ultimately, it's like, okay, you got to go through spring. You got to go through fall. You got to go through summer workouts. And when those first games do actually happen in non-con, do you take care of an NAU at
Well,
home?
and realistically, you're going to have to learn on the fly because, practice reps are great.
Yeah.
NAU reps are great. But you're going to need to figure that out over the season. And I know we've never shown a graphic on screen about Sam Leavitt's first half or second half of the season, so I won't ask for it again.
We won't ask for it.
because we certainly don't have it still.
No. We don't need to worry about that.
But I think that him being very real and saying, I just don't know yet, I think some people might be like, huh, what? You haven't figured it out? It's like, I think he's very comfortable in learning on the fly. I think he's very comfortable in playing on the fly. Like his play style kind of reflects that. You think about Texas where he just had to scramble and move around nonstop. Oh no, are we trying to find it? Oh no.
Unbelievable stuff, to be honest with you. This graphic
Wow.
has been put on the screen
About 6 billion times.
at least 6 billion times.
I mean, look at this, man.
It's
I mean, this might be the GOAT PHNX graphic. Like,
we don't even need to read the numbers.
It's nothing flashy, but it gets the damn job done.
He should, by the way, crush these numbers.
This is our Cam Scattaboo of graphics.
He should
we
crush
just handed the ball.
these numbers.
Yeah, I mean, he should, but I also would expect his second half to be better than his first half of the season again. Because I'm sure he's going to have to adjust, learn on the fly. I mean, he's not going to need to build chemistry with Jordan Tyson, but he's
Not
going
with
to
Tyson.
with Malik McClain.
With Malik
With
McClain.
Jalen Moss,
Yeah.
with Chris Noble.
100%.
With his new running back, one possibly in Kanye or Kyson, because that's a big step up, even though he's played with Kyson before.
Yeah.
And Kyson was running back one when Scat was out, but still a very different scheme. You're going to have to learn a lot of different things. A new center, and I think people underrate that type of relationship
Yeah, it's gonna be
between
different.
the center and the quarterback. So, there is a lot, despite the returners, for him to kind of figure out on the fly. So I don't expect him to struggle, but I do expect him to get better throughout the season.
He will certainly get better. And one thing that I think, we haven't talked about yet that we'll let Sam kind of speak to here in a second is going into year 2 of this system, the advantages that he has versus what he had when he was doing a quarterback competition. And then when he was named the starter, trying to navigate being the starting quarterback here at a Division I program in a new conference is the fact that he does have a year under his belt in this offense. You're returning your offensive coordinator in Marcus Arroyo. So that is certainly going to be a massive benefit for Sam, not only in the spring, but also throughout the entire season. This is what quarterback Sam Leavitt had to say, just in terms of kind of what's new for him this spring and how that newness, I guess, for lack of a better term, can help this offense and can help him moving forward.
Just talking about, overall philosophy of like what we want to get to. Before I felt like we didn't have a look. It was kind of like you have to play through it. Now it's kind of, if I know the offense so well, I can get to a new play and new checks and get to man answers and protections and, check to a run or check out of a run and stuff like that. So it's just understanding the offense as a whole, whereas now we're not going to be stuck in any bad plays.
I love that. I love the fact that, again, when you think about what this team was able to accomplish last year, without Sam really being able to check to different plays, being able to get out of bad plays, et cetera, and see the success they had. Now you're telling me that Sam is comfortable enough with this offense, with this system, to be able to check out of plays, to call those audibles, to kill a play, get to a run, to kill a play, get to a pass, right? That's going to be massive maybe in ways that people underestimate, right? When you get to a 3rd and 1 and you call a play, and last year, well, you just kind of had to roll with it because that was the play that was called. But now you're going into a second season. You can read the defenses a little bit better because, hey, I don't have to sit here and think about what we're doing offensively because I know the playbook like the back of my hand, right? So now if I see we're running it up the gut 3rd and 1 and I don't like the look that I'm getting, we can kill it. We can get to something else.
Sure.
Right? That's going to be huge for this team. And I think what that is going to be able to do for the weapons outside of Sam, right? Like it's uncharted territory for a quarterback at Arizona State, right? Like Jaden Daniels, he obviously had his moments where he was able to get in and out of certain looks, but now you've got a guy who is still so young to be able to go into this year and like really have a command of the offense. Like that's going to be huge.
Young, but experienced.
Yeah.
New weapons, so the offense shouldn't be predictable, but still enough comfortability. You still have your number one, right? That's the big deal. You still have your tight end one as well. You're all Big 12 tight end.
Yeah.
So, you do have some of those security blankets, even though Cam Scadaboo's gone, but teams are going to go into playing Arizona State this year, and they're not going to just be able to say, okay, it's, got to stop Scadaboo.
Yeah, I think this year it's going to be, we got to stop Sam Leavitt.
Right, but the thing that's different about having to stop a running back versus a quarterback is that if the quarterback has a lot of weapons, there's not a lot of ways to stop Sam Leavitt, unless you are Texas, who's putting pressure on him every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But that improved offensive line should hopefully hold up, and not every team is Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Teams like Texas don't exist in the Big 12, at least not right now, right?
You keep BYU's name out of your mouth.
Look, there are certain programs, certain teams that certainly have really good rosters, but you're not going to find a defensive line like they have at Texas.
No, I mean, think about in the Big 12 championship, like ASU, you said ASU's roster this year, just the size of it is bigger. Well, ASU dwarfed Iowa State in the Big 12 championship last year. Like they didn't have the big body athletes that an SEC team did. And again, ASU got robbed. So, it's not like they couldn't handle Texas, but, it was tough for Sam having to move out and like that. He's not going to have to do that that much this year.
And look, I know there's been a lot made of the offensive line, right? Returning a lot of guys, but losing a key piece in Leaf. The starting offensive line, or I'm not going to say starting offensive line because so many things change. And I know Kenny, the way he works with kind of the first team, second team, like things are subject to change. But first team offensive line today, you had Josh Atkins at left tackle. You had, I want to say, Sean Naw at left guard. You had Ben Coleman starting at center, first team center. You had Kyle Scott at right guard, and then you had Jalen Clem at right tackle.
And Max is out, right?
Max is out for the entirety of spring. So it's a little bit more of a challenge to evaluate kind of what that tackle competition is going to really look like. But I think you can already make a inference that, hey, if Max is missing the entire spring, Jalen has a real opportunity here to go out there and just win this right tackle competition just straight out, which...
Well, I mean, at least put himself in the driver's seat and then fall ball.
Which I think he will be. I think
fall
Jalen
ball and
will
stuff, it will still be a competition. But also remember, they made a change at the offensive line, like literally
a week before.
Like maybe even less than a week before, which is the first time that we were like,
I don't know how I feel about it.
It ended up being completely fine.
It worked.
Right? But also, hey, you need depth either way. Even if you're starting on the offensive line, you're not playing every single snap.
Yeah. No, that's 100%. And look, the offensive line wasn't only the group that had some unique guys out there, at least in combination for our first team. You had Jordan Tyson out there with wide receivers, obviously. You had Jalen Moss in the slot, and then you had, like you guessed, Malik McLean starting over on the other side. So those, I mean, tentatively would be your first team wide receivers. I'll tell you one thing right off rip. Jalen Moss looks like he's going to be a perfect fit in that slot spot. And Malik McLean looked like a different wide receiver.
That's the Erik Ruby name to watch. People are going to leave spring ball.
You chose a good name.
People are going to leave spring ball talking about watch out for Malik McLean, and I think they're going to have good reason to do so.
That's fair. Well, look, you said watch out for Malik McLean. I'm going to tell you some more guys that you should keep an eye on and watch out for during spring ball on the other side of this quick break.
I need you to write down this number right now. Don't hesitate. Grab a pen, pull out your phone, write down this number.
I got it.
You ready?
Type it.
480-776-5231. 480-776-5231.
Beautiful.
That's the number to the Carol Royce team. Now, here's the thing. You might think to yourself, well, Erik, I'm not looking to buy a home right now. Erik, I'm not looking to sell my home right now. Eventually you're going to.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you're a young person who's looking to get into real estate, which Carol says, get in soon before you cannot get in at all.
I am him. I am
Or
that guy.
you're somebody who already owns a home and you don't know when's the right time to sell. Well, the thing about Carol Royce and the reason why you need to call 480-776-5231
Call it.
is because she's not just trying to make a quick buck. She's not trying to flip your home in 15 seconds and give you a little bit of money so she could walk away with some money as well. No, she sat down with people who are trying to sell their home and she's told them, don't do it. Wait, because you're going to need to do that in order to get the most money out of this. And they trusted her.
Yeah, they make more money after the fact.
There's young couples that are looking to say, hey, what do I need to do to be able to buy a home? She'll sit down with you and tell you what you need to do. She'll lay out a game plan, even if that means that you're not going to be able to do it for the next 3 to 4 years. Carol's here for you. If you're ready to find your dream home or sell your current home, take the next step. Call Carol, 480-776-5231, or visit Carol online at carolroyceteam.com and tell them PHNX sent you. That's carolroyceteam.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Look, I love all of our partners here at PHNX. A lot of them strictly because they help me save money. But the reason I love our next partners because they help me win money. That's right. We're talking about Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Maybe you're looking for a little bit of a staycation. Go out to any of their locations. Post up in a nice hotel room, go to the pool, check out the restaurants, maybe win big on the gaming floor in and of itself, the sports books, etc. But I'm here to tell you about something else that they have going on. 3 words: sneakers, stories, and style. You're probably sitting back like, Anthony, what the heck are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
They've reimagined the Upper Deck Kitchen and Bar, and they've turned it into a sneaker lover's dream. March 20th through the 30th. So we are smack dab in the middle of it. From the first step to the final dunk, you guys can discover the history and artistry behind each pair. Remember, you do you. At Gila River Resorts Casinos, visit playatgila.com for more details.
Bang.
Hit the like button. Do it. Captain, you
if
hit
you
the
don't,
like button. Yeah, what's going to happen?
You don't want to know.
You don't want to know? Are you threatening them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Straight up.
I think it's fair. We ask nicely so often.
I'm over it.
You're done asking nicely.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
No, Mr.
Hit the damn
No
like
more
button.
Mr. Nice Rubus.
Hit the like button.
That sounded kind of sensual. Hit the like button.
Hey, listen. It's really
If
easy.
you don't hit the like button, I will find you.
You take your cursor. Move it slowly over the thumbs
Oh
up.
my goodness.
You
I
press
love it.
down ever so gently. Click.
That's it, right?
You release.
And boom, you're
And you
finished.
made us happy.
Wow, look at that. I love it. And clearly,
All right,
Rubus loves that too.
last year I remember you saying a name to watch
I did.
for spring football
Yeah.
was Keith Abney.
Was.
You were raving over Keith Abney, and let me be the first to tell you, you nailed it. Congratulations!
Thank you.
So a lot on the line.
Lot on the line.
A lot
Day
on the
one,
line
huh?
this year. Who is your Keith Abney Memorial Spring Football player to watch? He didn't die. I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah.
I wish we had a drum roll. Rodney Bimage.
Wow.
Rodney Bimage today. First one-on-one rep of the entire season, right? Where they have the, like, it's time, whatever. They changed the music to that, by the way. It's all I do is win. At least that's what was out there today.
Sorry.
Rodney Bimage with just a ridiculous interception in coverage on a one-on-one rep. He's getting more reps. First team, second team out there. Looks bigger, looks stronger, looks more intelligent, right? Like just in terms of the fact that he has got
Was he wearing glasses?
another year. He wasn't wearing glasses. No goggles out there either. I think Rodney Bimage is certainly a name to watch, but I think realistically, there are so many guys in this secondary, right? We brought up the fact that Tony Lewis and Kuba had added 20 pounds. He looks like he is a college football player now, right? And I was already talking about last fall just how lengthy he looks. Like his size is going to be a problem. Now he's added some muscle to that. I think he can be an absolute dog. He was talking his crap out there to some of the guys when he was winning his one-on-one reps, right? So him, Bimage is another guy. Chris Johnson, I think, is interesting too. They moved him back to safety. So we're going to see what he looks like there. Plas Johnson, like all of those guys that were in not this recent class, but the class before that sat last year, really started to develop, similar to what we saw from Montana Warren and Keith when they first got here, that now they've got a year under their belt. They know the system. They see the mentality. They get the iron sharpens iron, for lack of better metaphors or analogies, right? And now they can go out there and they're competing one-on-one against Jordan Tyson. They're going out there, they're competing one-on-one with Malik McClain, who's significantly bigger. And they're playing in coverage against a Sam Leavitt, who is, like we've said, a top 3 quarterback in college football. this season. So that's going to help them. But if I had to solely pick one on the defensive side of the ball, or I guess just one in general, I would say Rodney Bimage.
Interesting.
I think, again, you're still going to see the same guys starting. You're still going to see Jalen. You're still going to see Keith.
Yeah, but that's a boring answer.
Yeah, I'm not going to give that. I'm not going to give that answer.
Sam Leavitt.
But
Jordan Tyson.
I think Bimage is certainly going to be a problem this coming season, whether he is a rotational piece, whether he is thrust kind of into a little bit more of a starting role at some point. You never know with competition.
And even if you're not starting, I mean, think about the Caleb McCullough storyline from last year, right? Where it's like, okay, you're not starting, you're not you're part of the defense. You're not a massive part of the defense. And then, hey, we need you because of some BS targeting calls, and you basically win us a game, right? And then you earn your spot into being like a mainstay, for us going throughout the season. So even if Bimage isn't starting, or putting up big numbers in non-con play, what you
he'll
do
see the field,
right? He'll see the field.
We were thinking like he might see the field last year because he was rotating in fall camp so often. He was in the 2 deep, right? So now he is in a spot where, again, he's like carved out a role for himself. And when these guys end up leaving, right? When Keith's done, when Javen's done, Rodney Bimage is going to be more than likely a starting corner at this university. Like, he's that good.
And I mean, you have to think long term for a guy like him. Like, this team is going to try to be competing, for that long. So to be to be starting in that type of defense, hopefully by that point, having proved it multiple years in a row, like, that's how you get league guys on you.
Oh yeah.
Like these guys got long-term vision, but that doesn't mean that they're like, I need to start today.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And I think that's the really cool thing about the culture that they have here at Arizona State that they're trying to build is you see it in college basketball, you see it in a bunch of other programs when we're talking college football, right? Is that the culture within college football now is, okay, if I'm not playing or I'm not making money, I'm going to go somewhere to where I can do one of those two things.
Sure.
And at Arizona State, yes, as the NIL improved, yes, but in terms of playing time, there are a limited number of spots because so many guys are returning this season. So to be able to have guys that are talented, could go start at other universities, maybe aren't making as much money as like the starters would be, but still saying, you know what, like I want to develop here. I want to be an Arizona State Sun Devil. I see a path forward for me. I think is massive for the culture in and of itself. And it's funny because Kenny was actually asked about the culture today, about the ideology in terms of we're going to work harder than anybody else and have more fun than anyone else in the country. He was asked about that today because there were players that had brought it up in their interviews without being prompted. Kenny gave an answer that maybe you wouldn't necessarily expect, or maybe you do expect it because, hey, it's Kenny Dillingham talking about culture.
I think that's just what we're trying to create. And I think a culture is great on a wall. It's great, but if you can't feel it, if you can't feel the culture, then it's not real. So for me, it's more, I want to see the culture. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear us repeat it. I don't want us to have to memorize, they have to memorize it and all that, but I don't make them repeat it very often. I want to feel what our culture is. That's what our culture is. What I put on there is what I would like it to be. Who we are is the culture. So the fact that our guys are saying it, they're having fun out here. We got to push them harder because today we did not work harder than anybody in the country. So we got to as a staff organize it a little more to push ourselves a little harder at the end of reps.
You ever heard the term people who are funny don't have to tell you that they're funny?
Yeah,
they're just funny. If you're like, oh no, I'm the funny guy. Yeah, I'm the jokes guy. I'm the morale. It's like, that type of person doesn't need to say that. It's the same thing when it comes to sports. You're like, oh, we're the team. It's like, no, we'll go out and we'll prove it. We'll show you.
Yeah.
Right. And this team showed you last year and they're going to keep showing you, but that's never going to be enough for them.
No, it's never going to be enough. And I love the fact that he came out today. And as he's done the last couple springs, he wants to see more. Yeah. Right. To say, hey, we didn't work harder than we didn't work the hardest in the country today. We have a lot more to do, a lot more to accomplish, and we can 100% get better. I think that's big. I don't like the coaches that are like, oh, I liked what I saw today, blah, 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 and everything's hunky-dory.
Really just happy to be back on the field with the guys. Energy was really great here.
And he liked the energy. He liked the energy.
Yeah, but it wasn't
he liked
good
the
enough.
effort. But no, it's not good enough, right? If you want to win.
It's not enough.
If you want to win a Big 12 championship twice, if you want to win it 3 times, if you want to go back to the college football playoff, if you want to be the team in this conference. If you want to be what Ohio State is to the Big Ten,
Fire me up.
If you want to be what Georgia and Bama are to the SEC, if you want to be what Clemson once was in the ACC, then you have to win these games. You have to win the mind games that you're playing with your opponents in spring practice, right? You have to win these mental reps. When spring ball's over and it's just summer workouts and the coaches can't be there and it's just the guys, like that's when you win. That's when it's those mental hurdles that you have to get over to when it is, okay, hey, we got a minute left. We got the ball on our own 25. We got to go score some points. That's where you win those games. It's the mentality behind the whole thing. Nothing realistically changes, right? The play calls are different, whatever, you get new players. But it's like, okay, do you believe that we can do it, right? Do you believe in the fact that this team won a championship last year already helps their mentality, helps their mental state? But now it's like, hey, Kenny's talking after day one. We didn't work that hard. Go harder, right?
Yeah.
You came to Arizona State to win a championship again. Guess what? Step on the gas and don't let up. Like, that's what you have to do. And I think Arizona State, as long as Kenny's going to be here, which I imagine is going to be probably my entire lifetime, hopefully, knock on wood, this team in this program can continue. Yeah, geez.
He's like, I will retire when Anthony Totri dies.
They can continue to do that. So I loved what
Drive
we
safe
heard
today, okay?
from. I'm going to try my
Let's not
best.
put that in
I'm
there.
going to really try my best. But look, we talked a little bit about the competition, right, within DBs, within wide receivers. But I think a lot of people, right, people already in the chat asking about the Cam Scadaboo photo behind us. Like, okay, what's the running back position going to look like, right? Are we going to see a workhorse like we've seen with Scat, with Xavier and Valladay, with some of these other guys? Are we going to get maybe a little bit more of a shared load like we got with Kalen Ballage and Demario Richard? Well, I think that's something that time is only going to really be able to tell, because you got Alton McCaskill, who I didn't realize is a redshirt senior at this point. Jason Brown Jr., my dude has like thunder thighs, four legs. He's got tree trunks, 4 legs. Then you've got Kyson, right? Like, yes, was him changing his number to number 1 probably his own thing? Guess what? If you're rocking number 1, you got to be a dude. You got to be a dog, right? You're not trying to be a backup wearing the number 1. That's just not the way that it works. And we know Keith Abney's rocking number 1 on the other side. He's starting DB. Last year on offense, it was Xavier Guillory rocking number 1, a starting wide receiver. So is Sip going to be RB1, or is it going to be Kanye, who rushed for over 1,000 yards and 10-plus touchdowns at Army? I don't have the answer, but this is what KD had to say about the running back competition.
Yeah, he's one of the guys competing for the job. There's not one guy here that showed up here and I said, you're the starting running back. There's a guy that said there's an open starting running back job, but we've got a bunch of other good running backs to compete with. So there's not one person that's on this field that's new, that was promised they were going to start, told they were going to start. They were just told there's an opportunity. It's on you to win it.
This opportunity at Arizona State to be the lead running back is so, so valuable when you look at the career trajectories of running backs that have come through Tempe over the last decade, right? And even going back to like a Marion Grice, right? Yeah. Marion Grice, Kalen Ballage, Demario Richard, Eno Benjamin, Rashad White, Xavier Valladay, Cam Scadaboo. Like, who's next, right? Is it Kanye? Is it Kyson? Is it maybe a Raleek Brown? Like, there are so many guys that can provide different things to this offense. And yes, Kyson was rocking with the first team today. I don't know how much you necessarily want to read into that, right? You saw last spring, there were a number of guys that maybe didn't start, but they were getting first team reps early in spring, because it takes a while for some of these new guys, some of the younger guys to really get acclimated to the playbook, the style.
Jeff Sims was taking first string reps last year.
At one point, yeah.
Multiple
Jeff Sims
points.
back, man.
And I love it. And I absolutely love it. But that's off topic. We'll keep talking running backs right after our final break. Are you like me? High strung, stressed out, unable to sleep? I feel you. I hear you. I see you. And so does Pure Edibles. Because Pure Edibles is here for you. And it's not just about the effects, the fact that they label it clearly on the tin, whether it's to sleep, to relax, to uplift, to balance yourself out, whatever it is. they're also so delicious because they're not just an edible company. They're a full-fledged candy company offering gummies, kicks, which is their version of Starburst, chews, hard candies, and so much more. They even have like little chocolate candies as well. They're very good, but also they use the unique blends of CBN, CBG, and CBD. Also, of course, with THC. And the most important part, and I will say this, if you are getting into edibles or if you are scared to get back into edibles, you know this, it's dosing. It's making sure that you take the right amount for you. So start low, and that's perfect because pure gummies are designed to be ripped or bit in half, making them easily shareable or easy to dial in your exact dose. Go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona.
Look, you did a phenomenal job on that ad read. I just want to say it right there. But Thanks. There was one word that stuck out to me. Delicious.
Oh.
Right. And that's not just with Pure Edibles, but also with our friends over at Spinato. I don't know if you guys know this, but Mr. Rube is here. He knows it. Spinato's Pizzeria is the place to be for Suns fans. Look, they're hosting official watch parties throughout the season where you guys can watch a game with the Phoenix Suns dancers and the Gorilla. And hey, wouldn't you know, the Phoenix Suns red hot as of late.
Wow.
So maybe enjoy
Sharon's
some
Phoenix Suns
red hot basketball with Spinato's Red Zone Pizza. Why don't you try that? Look, stop by for your chance to win free Suns tickets, gift certificates, and of course, more exciting prizes. You can actually win free pizza for a year and tickets to the Suns game over on April 9th, which is right around the corner. Make sure you get all the info on the watch parties and of course the pizza basketball contest at spinatospizzeria.com. Spinato's the official pizza of the Phoenix Suns.
In the Gilbert location, I've been a dummy dumb and saying the wrong location on Suns, so I gotta correct that. But Gilbert location Friday, be there, hang out, free PHNX giveaways, your boys emceeing. Let's just, no, not two Spinatos reads. I'm just telling them that.
Just saying how much you love Spinatos.
Listen, I need you guys to show up to this, okay? Sharon's Phoenix Suns, okay? They're back. Sharon's Suns
are back. Ben saying no one does ads like Erik and Totri. Smooth handoff. Are we Leavitt to Scat here?
We are Leavitt to Scat. I do remember. I think the nicest thing somebody ever said to us was, and it's I remember this because not a lot of people say nice things. And it was like I usually listen on audio, and it's like I could have sworn that your ads were pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Because they're just so good, right? And then they come here and they're like, whoa, these guys. And they do it live.
Professionals.
They do it live. Again, still crazy to me that some of you guys don't know what we look like.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the fact that, what was it, Tank? Tank was an audio listener for a long time.
I mean, Tank is a tank.
And I had never seen him in the chat before, and then he was there for the entire 24-hour stream.
20
every hour on the hour, homie was delivering a super chat, and it was just awesome. It was great to see. Almost is great to get back out on the field and watch Kenny just absolutely play mind games with his players with the We Are the Champions on a loop. I know Will said it earlier. He loves to see that.
The mind games.
I loved it. I tweeted out a video of Leavitt to Tyson with We Are the Champions in the background, and it just I think I shed a tear out there watching that. I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see. And then of course you get to talk to Kenny after the fact, and he's talking about why they're playing We Are the Champions. I know we teased it at the start of the show, but this is what Kenny had to say in regards to just playing Queen's We Are the Champions literally 20 plus times.
I want it to become monotonous. Like, who gives a crap? Like, you're going to be told so many good things forever. You better it become monotonous to you that it's irrelevant. Nobody cares, right? So we're just trying to make last year irrelevant because nobody cares anymore. So we're going to do things and play things that make last year irrelevant. We talk to our guys. We're going to handle success fine. How are we going to handle this year when we get punched in the face? Because nobody's punched us in the face. Nobody's talking about punching us in the face. They're just giving us our roses. So we got to be ready to get hit in the face this year, not the handle success part. We'll be fine there. It's when we get hit.
First of all, nobody's playing 4D chess like that man right now. Who thinks of this? What kind of psychopath? Complimentary. What kind of psychopath sits back probably in like February and is just talking to Marcus Arroyo and Brian Ward and Iguano and Orego, and they're just like, you know what? How do we wash away last season? Let's play We Are the Champions. What? 2, 3, 4, 5, 40 times?
Let's play it all day.
What would be our equivalent of that to wash away last football season?
Ooh. Playing the win music for an entire show straight.
Just who cares anymore?
Yeah, just who cares?
Who cares?
It's monotonous. All we do is win, right?
All we do is win.
It means nothing, right? That's what it would be, right? Because the win music for us on a post-game show is like, oh, like we're celebrating.
I mean, we got
something.
used to it last year. I'll
We
tell
did,
you that.
we did.
And then
we went
we
straight into
immediately
basketball
got
season.
used to the
And
lost
I forgot
ones.
what winning was like for a quick second, but we're back now. We're
Yeah.
we're absolutely back, and it wasn't just Kenny talking about Queens. We are the champions. QB1 talked about the just constant loop of that song, and this was his answer.
Well, I can't speak for everybody else, but it was annoying me. You know, I don't care about last year's championship. Obviously, it was fun for the moment, but I don't want to hear that no more. I'm gonna go tell them to turn it off because we're not no champions anymore. It's a new season. We got to go. You know, we got more to prove.
Clearly, these two, like Kenny was like, "Yeah, we're playing it to be monotonous," and then Sam's like, "I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear this anymore.
Kenny, stop
playing. We're the champions.
I don't care.
These guys are
but
gonna
same
hate
mindset,
that song.
Same mindset though.
Oh yeah,
Same
absolutely.
mindset.
Same
though.
mindset.
So what happens if they win another one, right? Like what song are you gonna play? Because you can't play that one.
What songs are about winning? Because they've already played All I Do Is Win. They've played We Are the Champions. Like
those are the only two songs.
those might be the only two songs in history that are about winning, right? Like, are you looking up songs about winning? It's gonna be We Are the Champions.
Eye of the Tiger.
Ooh, Eye of the Tiger's a good one.
Don't Stop Believing. Yeah.
Don't stop believing.
Oh, I mean, this is the one.
Win by
Win.
J-Rock.
Win.
Yeah, that's. I can't wait for Kenny to play that
Curve
one all
everything
day.
else.
Oh my goodness.
Win.
You finished?
Win.
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go. There you go.
I want to keep
like
hearing
it.
from these guys.
Let's
Fire
do
me
it.
up.
Let's continue to hear from Sam. Look, we talked earlier about the pressure about, on him returning as one of the top quarterbacks in all of college football. So he was asked pretty much point blank, just what do you think about that? What do you think about the fact that, going into the season, national media, there's magazines, there's news outlets that have you being a top 3 QB in the country, point blank, period. And he gave a pretty candid answer on the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's good to have that, to show the work that you put in, it really means something. But, today was just like another day out here. It doesn't change my opinion on the game and the work you got to put in. If anything, it just means I got to hold myself to a higher standard. And that's how it's going to be every single year, just finding ways to bring everybody with you now. Last year was more so just me trying to make myself better every single day. Now so I got to bring an entire unit with me along with myself. So different challenges, like I said.
You can't run from it. You have to embrace it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the same thing with this whole team. I remember we talked to Watley, about turning from the hunted to the hunting. And he's like, there's not like a big mindset shift, right? Like we still approach work the same, but there's no getting around that things are different this time. You can't look at the media that was there. You can't look at the national attention. I mean, we were sitting there in Vegas asking Kenny if he talked to his team about being picked last in the Big 12 media preseason poll, right? So as much as you can approach everything the same, you need to acknowledge you can't live in Delulu land, right? You can't live in La La land.
No.
Sam Leavitt can't be like, I don't see it. I don't care. Like, no, like you have to like accept that that's reality. Like,
Yeah.
there's expectation on individuals' shoulders like Leavitt and Tyson's. There's weight on this team to perform and to follow up from the fan base, from the media, from the haters, There's a lot on the line and you can't run from it. And I don't think any of them are. They're embracing it and they're trying to mold the narrative in their own way. And I'm excited to continue to see what goes on in spring football. But I'm just curious as we wrap things up here, Totri, like your final takeaway, anything that we haven't mentioned or anything that's just like, man, like this is what stood out to Totri day one cooking under the sun out there in Tempe.
This defense is going to be better than they were last year.
Jeez.
And this defense was really good last year. I know it's day one, but they were flying around today.
Mm-hmm.
Keith Abney had a pick 6. Miles Rouser had a pick 6. And again, they're not in pads. It's day one, whatever. But they're out there with a lot of the returning guys. And you're looking out there, you're like, I'm seeing pretty much the same defense that I saw last year, and all you're doing now is you're rotating in either a Montana Warren or a Kendrick Breedlove at the nickel spot, and then you look to the 2 deep, and there were guys that transferred out, whatever, and you're like, well, now it's like, okay, Rodney Bimage and Tony Lewis and Kuba, and you got Jordan Crook working still in with the linebackers, or Osiris or a Martell Hughes. And these are guys that all have had moments last year. And yes, you hate to see guys like a Caleb McCullough be done with eligibility, Shamari, whatever. But now it's time for some of these other guys that we were talking last year when they got here. Okay, these could be cool rotational pieces. Now they're in here. They look different. They look bigger. They look faster. They're more acclimated to not only the weather, but the systems that they have. And again, it's day one, and they were flying around today. There was literally a point like 10 minutes into drills where they were doing like scoop and score, right? Defensively. And Justin Watley had scored and did like a little touchdown celebration. CJ Fight was walking over to me and he's like, "Did you see that touchdown celebration?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And like these guys are already just like so into the idea of like, yes, we're gonna work extremely hard, but you bet your bottom dollar we're going to have fun. And of course, it's not just them having fun out here. We have fun here every single day. PHNX Sun Devils show. Back at practice on Thursday. So that is certainly going to be a ton of fun. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on your way out. That's going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils show. For all things spring football and for all things Arizona State in general, you can give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils on social. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow old cutesy legs here at Erik Ruby. Totri. That is Erik with a K. You can follow Mr. Beep Boop Bop Beep Man, Captain Redbeard, at K Coop Sports on social. And we will be back on Wednesday, same time, same place. But in the meantime, go Devils. And peace.
We all silly like the mayor.